That's how we all die.
This document takes an in-depth look at 4 photos given in evidence by Ms. Heard, all of which show facial injuries that she alleged to have been inflicted on her by Mr. Depp on May 21st, 2016. This analysis will show that these photos could not have been taken within hours of each other, nor even taken on the same date given the metadata. Thereby, the photos are not only staged, but their respective metadata must necessarily have been manipulated. The below 4 photographs are shown in NGN's closing submission and are the photos that will be closely examined in this analysis. They were selected as the subject photos because high-resolution copies are available in the public domain. So we've got these ones here, these 4. Section 1. Who took the photos and with whose iPhone? Who took the photos? The below testimony from Ms. Heard's 6th witness statement, July 4th, 2020, and describes who took the 4 subject photos, 155, 163, 202, and 220, and when. So what it says, images 155 to 175, this is a series of photos that were taken of me by Rocky Pennington after the incident in May of 2016. Images 202 to 222, this is a series of photos that were taken of me by Rocky Pennington after the incident of May of 2016. Ms. Heard's testimony establishes that all 4 subject photos were taken by Ms. Pennington, but it does not establish the location of each photograph, nor whether they were taken using Ms. Heard's or Ms. Pennington's iPhone. On whose phone? The diagram below is an excerpt from the table taken from the report by Mr. Timothy Latulepe of iDiscovery Solutions, who carried out a forensic analysis of the integrity of 23 photo images from the May 21st incident. So we have 155, 157, 159, 161, and 163. And it says here that there was no metadata inconsistencies and third-party metadata fields, none. Only 2 of the subject photos, 155 and 163, highlighted above, were included in the 23 images provided to Timmy. However, as with the 4 images listed in the above table, all 23 photos were shown to have been taken using an iPhone 6. When using the iPhone as a camera, there are 2 modes in which photos can be taken. The first is photo mode, which will set the iPhone to take rectangular photos with an aspect ratio of 4.3. The second is square, which will set the iPhone to take square photos. The chosen mode will apply to both front and back cameras. Of the 4 subject photos, the first 2 are square in shape, with the other being rectangle of aspect ratio of 4:3. As it's usual for an iPhone user to keep with their preferred photo settings, it is likely that the first 2 photos were taken from a different phone than the other 2. Note: Photo 2 below is a composite of 2 cropped images found on the web. The composite proves the original photo to be square. Okay. According to the metadata, photo 1 was taken at 8:23 p.m. And according with the timeline taken from the testimonies of Ms. Heard and Ms. Pennington and Mr. Drew, this would have been the time immediately once all 3 had entered Penthouse 1 after Ms. Heard and Ms. Pennington had been escorted there from Penthouse 3 by Mr. Drew. And let's not forget, Johnny was still in the building. Johnny was still in the building at this time. He didn't leave till 8:30. So let's just keep that in mind. She was taking pictures then. We know from Ms. Pennington's email and witness statements that Ms. Heard did not allegedly have her phone when she went to Penthouse 1, and that Ms. Pennington had to retrieve her phone at a later time. Email statement, May 22nd, 2016, the day after the incident. That was the last I saw of him that evening. I heard him yelling and breaking things for the next 15 to 30 minutes in the hallway and other apartments. When I went to find Amber's phone and purse in Penthouse 3 and Penthouse 5, still not knowing if he was on the premises, I discovered broken belongings. It's interesting, 15 to 30 minutes, yet they were taking pictures at 8:23 and Johnny left at 8:30. Their timeline is so screwed up. Another witness statement, June 16th, 2020. I did not see Johnny again that evening. Amber and I stayed in Penthouse 1 until Josh had checked all of the apartments to make sure Johnny was gone. At some point after he had done so, I went to Penthouse 3 and Penthouse 5 to check the damage and to find Amber's phone and purse. I'm sorry. Oh man, you can't make this stuff up. Well, they can. Thereby, according to testimony, the iPhone used to take photo 1 must necessarily have belonged to Miss Pennington, and as a rough guide, we can hence surmise that all square photos taken on the 21st and 22nd of May were lightly taken using Miss Pennington's phone, and hence all the rectangle photos of aspect ratio 4:3 were likely taken using Miss Heard's phone. Section 2, plucked eyebrows. I think this is one of the most, this is great, guys. This is great. We first take a close look at Miss Heard's eyebrows to see if there is any obvious discrepancies in size and shape across the 4 photos. So at 8:23, Miss Heard's eyebrows can be seen full and curved. At 9:22 on the 21st, same day, less than an hour later, Miss Heard's eyebrows can still be seen full and curved. Perfect. At 11:57 p.m. on the same day, at just before midnight, Miss Heard's eyebrows remain full and curved. Okay. At 11:31 a.m. on the 22nd, so like 12 hours later, before noon the following day, Miss Heard's eyebrows have been plucked to a shorter length and with a sharp spearhead taper. Look at that. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Wonder if that redness there is from her getting waxed. Huh. Questions? The shape and length of Miss Heard's eyebrows on the morning of the 22nd of May are starkly different to that seen in the photos of the previous day. In all, there were 8 photos taken that morning between 11:31 and 11:33, including the below 3 photos, all of which also clearly show Miss Heard's eyebrows to have been plucked to a very distinct spearhead shape. Thereby, Miss Heard could only have plucked her eyebrows in the 12 hours or so between 11:57 p.m. the night before and 11:31 a.m. on May 22nd, seen in the below 2 images enlarged. And the same distinct change in length and shape of Miss Heard's eyebrows between the times of her last photo of the evening of May 22nd and the further photo of the following morning is again seen in the 2 below enlarged images. If the 8 photographs were indeed taken on or near May 22nd, then Miss Heard's eyebrows would necessarily be of similar shape and size in the following days, including on the 27th of May when she filed her TRO. So he's got all these pictures of her from TRO day. The sharply defined spearhead shape of Miss Heard's plucked eyebrows can clearly be seen in each of the adjacent photographs taken of her within and outside the Superior Court on May 27th, and again outside her lawyer's office the following day. From these photos and the shape of Miss Heard's eyebrows were established that photo 4 and the accompanying 7 other photos were almost certainly taken at a time reasonably close to the date when Miss Heard appeared in court, May 27th, 2016. However, we still need to establish if Miss Heard had plucked her eyebrows in the 12 hours or so from 11:57 p.m. on the 21st of May, or whether her eyebrows had already been plucked by that time, and thereby proving that all other photos claimed to have been taken on May 21st were fake and that the metadata and date and time had been manipulated. To establish exactly how Miss Heard's eyebrows looked prior to May 21st, we need to find photographs of her taken in the immediate days prior. Between 13th and 18th of May 2016, Miss Heard was in Milan with both Savannah McMillan and Melanie Iglesias, where she was filming. During her stay, Miss Heard was seen and photographed dining at a bistro with Marie de Villepin, I'm so sorry, I screwed that up, daughter of the former Prime Minister Dominique de Villepin, and rumored girlfriend of Miss Heard in 2013. This liaison was initially reported by French magazine Closer with accompanying photographs. However, the article can no longer be found online. Isn't that interesting? On the 3rd of June 2016, French magazine Gala itself reported on the Closer article, outlining that according to the magazine Closer, a few days before the supposed dispute between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, the young woman was in Milan with the daughter of the former Prime Minister Dominique de Villepin and model Marie. The below photograph left of the dinner date can easily be found on the web. The second photograph on the right is a picture of part of the dining area at the bistro and gives proof as to where Miss Heard and Mrs. de Villepin were actually sitting that evening. A rough Google translation of the picture text is as follows. On May 15th, around 10:30 p.m., Amber Center and Marie Wright dined together in a Milan restaurant. They have known each other for 2 years, a friendship that Johnny Depp has always seen very badly. On June 5th, 2016, French magazine Le Gossip also reported on the liaison, citing both the articles by Closer and Gala and further adding much more detail as the evening's events. A rough Google translation of the article is as follows. Amber Heard's alleged infidelities, not only with Cara, but also with Marie, would have caused the implosion of her relationship with Johnny Depp, already weakened by the death of his mother, Betty Sue Palmer, with whom he was very close. Johnny Depp could no longer bear the ex-marital escapades of his dear wife. An evening spent by the latter with Marie, the daughter of Dominique, would have ignited the wrath, reports Closer, which reports an evening which took place on May 15th in Milan at the bistro. They were kissing each other on the neck. They couldn't stop laughing together, said one witness. Openly bisexual, the American bomb had never hidden her proximity to the beautiful Frenchie. Asked about these 2 years ago, the pretty blonde replied very simply, "I accept all my friendships, and I have a very fulfilling love life." No, marriage has not changed me. She also proclaimed in the columns of Gala, "I stay one curious woman, very open-minded, and allowed me to have a great human adventures." How's this for an adventure, Amber? Unfortunately, the dining photo is not of sufficient quality or resolution to see the details of Miss Heard's eyebrows. However, other photos of Miss Heard taken during her stay in Milan were posted on the Amber Heard Brazil website. One such photo that Miss Heard and another lady taken on May 17th at the Elixir Hotel where Miss Heard was staying. From this photo, we can see that Miss Heard's eyebrows had already been plucked to give a spearheaded taper. This photo was taken 4 days before Miss Heard's photos of the alleged injuries, and thereby gives proof that the photos that Miss Heard testified to have been taken on the 21st of May were all fake and that the metadata, time and date had been manipulated. The below photo is of the foyer of the hotel and is shown only to give proof of location of the above photo. Perfect. Further proof that Miss Heard had plucked her eyebrows before May 21st is given in a paparazzi photos of Miss Heard taken at LAX airport on her return from Milan, May 18th, 2016. This photo provides the final irrefutable proof that 3 days prior to May 21st, 2016, Miss Heard's eyebrows were plucked in the defined spearhead shape seen in the above photo and the photo taken at the hotel. And as Miss Heard's eyebrows could not have grown back to the extent and length seen in her photos of May 21st, all her photos of that date given by her in her evidence were staged and the metadata was manipulated accordingly. In summary, Miss Heard would have us believe that in the space of 3 days, her eyebrows had grown and extended from a spearheaded shape to a thickest curve shape as seen between the two photos below, and that she then again plucked her eyebrows on the morning of the 22nd of May. According to Healthline.com, eyebrows grow between 0.14 millimeters to 0.16 millimeters per day. Hence, Miss Heard's eyebrows could not have grown more than 0.48 millimeters in the 3 days from the 18th to the 21st of May, and thereby the first 3 subject photos must have been taken at least weeks apart from the 4th. In this section, despite having now proven that the May 21st photos were not taken on that day, we nevertheless look to establish the exact location at which each photo was taken and then to uncover any anomalies or inconsistencies between the location and image of each photo and or the whereabouts and activities of the involved parties at the time given by the false metadata. So we're taking a look at picture 155 and picture of Penthouse 1. We can immediately establish that photo 1 was taken in the kitchen of Penthouse 1, Miss Pennington's apartment. As already described in section 1, photo 1 was taken using Miss Pennington's iPhoto at the time immediately once she and Miss Heard had entered Penthouse 1, after they had both been escorted there from Penthouse 3 by Mr. Drew. However, Mr. Drew testified in its deposition, November 19, 2019, that on their return to Penthouse 1, Miss Heard was catatonic, symptoms of which include agitation and restlessness, with Miss Pennington trying to calm her down whilst also recounting events to Mr. Drew. So when you got to Raquel and Amber, what did you observe? His answer was, I remember first speaking to them specifically in Penthouse 1 at our place, But how, like I said, how we all got there, I don't remember. I remember deadbolting the door, and Amber was like catatonic. She was just like 1,000 yards there, just done. And Raquel was like trying to calm down herself as, what the fuck just happened? And she started to recount a little bit. As soon as she told me that Johnny had shoved her, I went red, and I went right out the door and started banging on the door to do something regrettable. He was already gone at that point. Mr. Drew testified that Miss Pennington recounted the events to him up until the point where she revealed that she had been pushed by Mr. Depp, at which point Mr. Drew immediately went to confront Mr. Depp at Penthouse 5, only to discover that Mr. Depp had already left. Hence, Miss Pennington was in conversation with Mr. Drew from the time they all entered Penthouse 1 until he left to confront Mr. Depp. Footage from the elevator camera shows Mr. Depp to have left the penthouse floor at 8:29 p.m., which establishes that Miss Pennington was in conversation with Mr. Drew from 8:22 until that time, yet the photograph was taken within a minute of their return to Penthouse 1, and at the very time when Miss Pennington would have excitedly started her recollections of events. There is no testimony by Mr. Drew of the very significant event of Miss Pennington having taken the photo of Miss Hurt's injuries amidst both her recollection and Miss Hurt's catatonia. And nor is it plausible that such a photograph could have been taken so immediately after having entered Penthouse 1, given the alleged state of Miss Hurt and given that Miss Pennington was both comforting her whilst recollecting events. Mr. Drew's testimony, at the very least, gives compelling evidence that photo 1 was not taken at the time given by the metadata, even though his same testimony is likely to have been concocted by all three parties. So we're going to take a look at photo 163. Which is photo 2. Photo 2 was taken at the same occasion as several others, some of which clearly show Miss Hurd to be in front of what appears to be the door of her ensuite bathroom in Penthouse 3. When photo 2 is lightened, we can see the bed and armchair within the bedroom and the decorative door coving behind Miss Hurd's head, proving that she was indeed standing in front of the bathroom door just inside the bathroom. So we have the door coving, we have the footboard, and the armchair. So I'm just going to pull this back a little bit so we can see. Yep. We know from corroborative testimonies and evidence that Miss Hurd initially interviewed and examined by the first officers in good lighting in the hallway just outside the doorway of Penthouse 1, before then being further interviewed while sitting on the sofa in the entrance of Penthouse 3. The testimonies of both Officers Sands and Hayden were that they saw no signs of injury to Miss Hurt's face, as shown in. The below excerpts are taken from the deposition transcript of Officer Sands and Hayden. Officer Sands testified that she interviewed Miss Hurd and closely examined her face and found no mark, swelling, or injury to her face. Officer Hayden also testified that he examined Miss Hurd and found no marks, bruising, swelling, or other signs of injury on her face. We know also from the elevator footage that both officers left Penthouse 3 at approximately 9:19. However, according to the metadata, photo 2 was taken at 9:22, only 3 minutes after the two officers had left the apartment. Miss Hurd's facial injuries cannot have suddenly developed within those 3 minutes, nor was there time for her to apply stage makeup to create fake injuries. So the only conclusion to be drawn is either that the photo metadata have been manipulated to show 9:22 p.m., or both Officers Sains and Hayden were lying in their testimonies, as well as witnesses who also testified to have seen Miss Hurd the following day with no makeup and no injuries. It is no coincidence that when manipulating the metadata, Miss Hurd chose a time very close to that at when the officers had left the apartment, as it was clearly necessary to provide proof not only that she had already sustained those injuries at the time she was examined by the two officers, but also to give proof of the extent of those injuries. Miss Hurd's testimony becomes less plausible in that she somehow found the time within the same 3 minutes to first photograph the two LAPD business cards. Both photos are rectangular with aspect ratio 4:3. Before then, going upstairs and posing for four photographs, all taken within the same minute at 9:22. Photo 202, photo number 3. Photo 3 was a single photo taken by Miss Pennington, according to Miss Heard's witness statements, at 11:57 p.m. on the evening of May 21st, 2016. We can establish that the photo was taken within Miss Heard's bedroom in Penthouse 3 from the blue molded ceiling and hanging lamp switch and the bookcase. And thank you to Incredibly Average for getting this up for us. The object seen behind Miss Heard placed her immediately in front of the bookcase just outside the ensuite bathroom. Miss Heard is clear in her sixth witness statement on July 4th, 2020, that photo 3 was taken by Miss Pennington. Suspicion is immediately raised by the need for Miss Pennington to have taken only a single photo at just before midnight when having already taken 10 photos of Miss Heard's facial injuries around 2.5 hours earlier. This is made more suspicious by the fact that Miss Pennington had her bead exposition at the DTLA Artist and Fleas Market the following day, for which she had been preparing her custom jewelry and which she had advertised on Instagram 4 days earlier. In all likelihood, Miss Pennington would not have still been at Miss Heard's apartment at 3 minutes to midnight in view of her big exposition the following day. That's a good point. By mere chance, the original image file, including metadata, used by Page 6 in their publication, found its way onto other internet sites. The pertinent metadata for this photo are shown in the following tags. The full listing of metadata tags is given in Appendix 1 at the end of this document. Camera model, iPhone 6. Lens make, Apple. Lens model, iPhone 6 front camera, lens, 6 front camera, and region type face. From this, we immediately establish that the front camera was used in the taking of this photograph and that the subject region was a face. In other words, the photo was a selfie. This therefore proves that it was in fact Miss Heard who took the photograph, contrary to her statement, and by inference that Miss Pennington was not present at that time. By inference also, the photograph was almost certainly taken using Miss Heard's own iPhone, which thereby gives support to the theory that all rectangular photos, aspect ratio 4:3, were taken using her phone. As with the previous photos, the metadata time of this photo is also not to be trusted. In view of Miss Heard's continued false testimony as to who took the photo and the unlikeliness that Miss Pennington would have still been in the apartment at close to midnight in view of her big event the following day. Photo number 4 is photo 220. The location at which this photograph was taken cannot be determined with certainty, as despite the extensive amount of photographs and footage of the various penthouses, there are none which show mounted airhead hooks, or the type of wall covering seen in the photo. The metadata time shows the photo to have taken 11:31 a.m., and we know from corroborating testimonies that Miss Heard remained at the penthouse that morning while the locks were changed. Elevator footage shows Miss Heard had left the penthouse around 1:06 p.m. before then driving away, as it is described in NGN's closing submission. Thereby, photo 4 would have been taken in one of the penthouse apartments. The two places of which there are few or no photos publicly available are the upper levels of Penthouse 5, used by Miss Heard, and of Penthouse 1, Miss Pennington's apartment. And by process of elimination, it is most likely that photo 4 was taken somewhere at one of these two locations. Some evidence to support this is the fact that several bead necklaces can be seen hanging across the hairhead hooks, suggesting the apartment is either Miss Heard's or Miss Pennington's. And it is unlikely to be 3, as Miss Heard's bead necklace can be seen hanging on hooks attached to the side of the bookcase in the study. From Mr. Baruch's witness statement, December 12, 2019, we know that Miss Pennington was still at the apartments at around midday before leaving to exhibit her work at the Artist and Fleas Market. He said on May 22, 2016, as I left my apartment a bit after noontime, standing in the hallway and within the open doorway of Penthouse 1 stood Miss Heard, a private security person, 2 locksmiths who were working on the open door, and Mr. Drew. I also saw Miss Pennington within the apartment walking about. Miss Pennington's presence was corroborated by Miss Heard's testimony during day 11 of the UK trial. So she was questioned. Yes, I'm dealing with the 22nd now in the morning. Amber said, yes, Miss Laws has continuously asked me about the morning, but the beach show was not until the afternoon, so I am unclear. So it is plausible that photo 4 may have been taken by Miss Pennington and taken at the time shown in the metadata. However, 2 witnesses interacted with Miss Heard at length and up close during the early afternoon that same day, and both were in no doubt that Miss Heard had no injuries and little or no makeup. At not long after midday, and less than an hour after photo 4 was supposedly taken, Mr. Isaac Baruch met Miss Heard outside the doorway of Penthouse 1. His interaction and observations are described in his witness statement of December 12, 2019. She told me that he in the face and threw a phone at her. I then asked her where it had impacted, and she stretched her neck out and pushed out the right side of her head for me to look at her right eye. We both were standing in front of the open doorway of Penthouse 1, which lights from the hallway and the sunlight that came in through the windows from the Penthouse 1, which filled the room and spread into the hallway. It was very easy for me to get an excellent view of Miss Heard's face. I literally was around 12 inches from her, inspecting her face, and did not see a single mark or evidence of any marks, bruising, or swelling of any kind anywhere on her face. She also definitely didn't seem to be wearing any makeup at this time of day that could cover any marks or swelling. And at 1:06, just over an hour and a half after photo 4 was taken, Miss Heard went to the reception desk and was thereafter accompanied to the mailroom by Mr. Harrell. The interaction lasted for about 3 minutes. Mr. Harrell's observation of Miss Heard are described in his deposition January 31st, 2019. Question: Did you have a chance did you see Amber's face during your conversation with her that day? Yes. And did Amber appear to be wearing makeup? If so, very minimal. Okay. Did you notice any bruising on Amber's face that day? I did not. Did you notice any swelling on her face? I did not. Any red marks? I did not. Any cuts? I did not. Okay. Any injury of any kind on her face? No. Both Mr. Baruch, Mr. Depp's friend, and Mr. Harrell, independent witness, gave near identical testimonies in respect to the lack of makeup and non-existent injuries to Miss Heard's face. And if both are telling the truth, then photo 4 was either not taken at the time shown in the metadata, or fake injuries were applied to Miss Heard's face and then removed before she encountered Mr. Baruch and Mr. Harrell. When were May 21st photos taken? As part of the dissolution of her marriage to Mr. Depp, the court ordered that penthouses 1, 4, and 5 be vacated on or before September 1st, 2016, and that Ms. Heard vacate penthouse 3 on or before December 31st, 2016. Hence, Ms. Heard had access to those respective penthouses for those given dates. We have already established from the shape of Ms. Heard's plucked eyebrows on 22nd of May, photo 4, and following days that the previous photos of May 21st could not have been taken on that date. Paparazzi photos taken of Ms. Heard at her first deposition on August 6, 2016, and again at LAX airport on August 31st, show her eyebrows to have mostly grown back by that time. So either Ms. Heard took her faked photos well before May 21st, or she took them at some point from around August through to when she vacated the penthouse. However, we can establish that photos 2 and 3 were in fact taken before May 21st from photographs that Ms. Heard sent in text messages that same evening or night. 11:58 p.m., just 1 minute after photo 3 was allegedly taken, Ms. Heard sent the photo to her parents. And 38 minutes later, Ms. Heard sent 2 different photos in a text to Aaron Baroon. These 2 photographs were allegedly taken at 9:25 p.m. and 9:22 respectively, and are part of the same batch of 10 photos taken at the same time occasions as photo 2 above, which was also taken at 9:22. Hence, photos 2 and 3 must have already been taken weeks before May 21st, as we have proven they were not taken on May 21st. This leaves only photo 1, which was taken in the kitchen at Penthouse 1. If this photo was indeed taken by Miss Pennington, as Miss Heard testified, then it could have been taken at any time up to the end of August, the time by which Penthouse 1 was to be vacated. So photo 1 could have been taken either well before or well after May 21st, 2016. But the fact that Miss Heard did not give any evidence of having texted this photograph on May 21st suggests that photo 1 did not exist at that time and therefore was likely taken some weeks after May 21st. Section 5, change of clothing. Having already proven that the first 3 subject photos, May 21st, were taken at least weeks apart from the 4th, May 22nd, we now examine Miss Heard's attire across these 3 photos to determine if there is compelling evidence or proof that Miss Heard did not in fact take those 3 photos within the same day. At 9:23, Miss Heard can be seen wearing what appears to be a khaki green colored woolly fleece. At 9:22, less than an hour later, Miss Heard is seen in a camel brown colored leather top. At 10:31 p.m., around 1 hour, 10 minutes later, Miss Heard is seen on the LAPD body cam footage wearing a white or very light colored top. At 11:57, just prior to midnight, Miss Heard is photographed seemingly not wearing a top or possibly wearing a strapless top. The photos show that in the 2 or so hours between 8:23 p.m. and 10:31 p.m., Miss Heard wore at least 3 different tops, meaning that within the same time she changed her top at least twice. In photo 1, Miss Heard was seen wearing what appears to be a thick, warm khaki green fleece. This photo would have been taken at the time immediately once Miss Heard had entered Penthouse 1, after she and Miss Pennington had been escorted there from Penthouse 3 by Mr. Drew. So the top she is seen wearing in the photo would have been the one that Miss Heard had been wearing a few minutes earlier at the time when she alleges to have been by Mr. Depp. We know also from corroborating testimonies that Miss Heard did not leave Penthouse 1 until escorted back to her apartment by the 2 LAPD officers at around 9:10 p.m. Hence, Miss Heard would have been wearing the same khaki green fleece when interviewed by the LAPD officers, unless, of course, she were to claim that she changed her top whilst in Penthouse 1. One immediate curiosity as to why Miss Heard would be wearing such a warm top while inside apartments with central heating and in the later part of May when the temperature at 10 p.m. that evening was recorded just under 60 degrees. That's 15 degrees Celsius for the rest of us, according to wonderground.com. The need to wear such a warm top would be more consistent with Miss Heard having recently returned from outdoors or just about to leave the apartment. And this anomaly grows further with photo 2, where, less than an hour later, Miss Heard had evidently changed from her warm fleece to an even thicker brown leather jacket. Again, this would be more consistent with Miss Heard having just returned from outdoors or about to leave the apartment. We know that Miss Heard would have been wearing the fleece whilst being interviewed by the 2 LAPD officers. Hence, in the 3 minutes from the time which the 2 officers left the apartment, 9:19 p.m., and the time that photo 2 was taken, Miss Heard managed to take photos of both the LAPD business card, go upstairs to a bedroom with Miss Pennington, change out of her fleece and into a leather jacket, and then pose for 4 photographs, including photo 2. Then, at some time before the second 2 LAPD officers arrive, 10:29 p.m., Miss Heard changed out of her leather jacket and into a lighter, more summery long-sleeve top as seen in the above-shown body cam still. And in photo 3, Miss Heard is seen quite comfortable and just before midnight wearing no top while taking a selfie of her facial injuries. This photo, along with the body cam still, raises the further anomaly of Miss Heard's needing to wear less clothing as the evening progressed and the temperature decreased. Miss Heard's warmer clothing seen in photos 1 and 2 is also in stark contrast to the above body cam still showing the patio door left wide open to cool the apartment during the late evening of May 21st, and similarly, in contrast to the adjacent body cam still showing Mr. Drew to be warm and comfortable in just a t-shirt at that time. The unlikely and implausible change of clothing seen in the above subject photos gives compelling evidence they were not all taken within the same day, and in all likelihood, Miss Heard had worn her white long-sleeve top throughout that evening. Very interesting. Section 6, Varying Hairstyles. In this section, we examine Miss Heard's varying hairstyles to determine if there is further compelling evidence or proof that the photos were not taken on the day given in the metadata. Looking across the hairstyles shown in the 4 subject photos, we see significant amount of variation considering that the first 3 were allegedly taken over a 2.5-hour period and all were taken within 15 hours. In the first photo, Miss Heard's hair looks a little tousled and dry, yet in the second photo, her hair improves in appearance, looking softer, more wavy, and better groomed than previous, though slightly ruffled around her forehead. Hence, in the 3 minutes from the time at which the 2 officers left the apartment to when photo 2 was taken, Miss Heard managed to take photos of both LAPD business card, go upstairs to her bedroom with Miss Pennington, change out of her fleece and into her leather jacket, brush her hair, and then pose for 4 photos. In the third photo, Miss Heard's hair further improves in appearance, looking immaculately groomed and styled and with soft wavy curls throughout, But by the fourth photo, allegedly taken on the following morning, Miss Heard's hair appears lackluster and unkempt. We have already established from Miss Heard's plucked eyebrows that the first 3 photos were not taken on the 21st of May and were not taken at any time within weeks of the fourth photo, so any comparison with the fourth photo is not relevant. The first 2 photos suppose that Miss Heard's hair appeared tousled following her alleged incident, and that in the hour or so before taking the next photo, Miss Heard had brushed her hair to make it look more tidy. However, from the third photo taken just before midnight, it would appear that Miss Heard had employed a professional hairstylist to immaculately groom and style her hair prior to her taking the selfie and shortly thereafter going to bed. It is simply implausible that Miss Heard's hair could have so dramatically improved in appearance as the evening progressed, especially considering the trauma that she allegedly had sustained and her alleged emotional state. As with her several changes of clothing on that day, an ever-changing and improving appearance of her hair gives further compelling evidence not only that the 3 photos were not taken on the 21st of May, but they were not taken within the same day. Change of jewelry. In this section, we look at the jewelry worn by Miss Heard to determine if there is further compelling evidence or proof that the photos were not taken on the day given in the metadata. So we have the same silver necklace. We have the ear cuff here in the bottom picture there. Silver necklace is now missing. Neither of the 2 necklaces appear to match the gold necklace seen in photo 2. Yeah, these 2 don't match here. They don't match. In all 3 of the above photos, Miss Heard can be seen wearing both an ear cuff and diamond stud earrings in her right ear. This would appear to be Miss Heard's everyday jewelry attire, as she can be seen wearing the same ear cuff and stud earring in the adjacent photo that was taken at the same time as photo 4, and has already been proven was taken weeks after photos 2 and 3. In both photos 1 and 2, Miss Heard can be seen wearing what is evidently the same silver necklace comprised of a pattern 1 longer hoop connected by 3 smaller hoops. However, the finer gold necklace that can be seen in photo 2 alongside the silver necklace cannot be seen in photo 1, even when expanding that area of the photo as shown below. In the expanded photo, we can see a significant area of Miss Heard's neck around where the silver is hanging and where she would expect to see part of the gold necklace, also shining from reflected light as with silver necklace. Although not conclusive, it does appear that Miss Heard was wearing only the silver necklace at the time photo 1 was taken. If so, the Miss Heard must have put on a gold necklace shortly before photo 2 was taken. Hence, in the 3 minutes from the time at which 2 officers left the apartment, 9:19 p.m., and the time that photo 2 was taken, Miss Heard managed to take photos of the business card, go upstairs to her bedroom with Miss Pennington, change out of her fleece and into a leather jacket, brush her hair, put on a gold necklace, and then pose for 4 photos. And by nearly midnight, when Miss Heard takes photo 3, the silver necklace has been removed and 2 gold necklaces can now be seen around her neck, neither of which match the gold necklace seen in photo 2, meaning that Miss Heard had, in just before midnight, implausibly removed 2 necklaces to put on 2 different ones. Such a scenario is simply absurd, and evidently the metadata of these photos have been manipulated. In this section, we look at the variation in Miss Heard's facial bruises to determine if there is any compelling evidence or proof as to whether Miss Heard used any makeup to fake the bruises and as to whether the photos were all taken with hours of each other. In photo 1, we predominantly see redness to Miss Heard's right cheek and to her eyelid and above. We see much the same in photo 2, allegedly taken an hour later. The stark variation in Miss Heard's injuries appears in photo 3, just taken over 2.5 hours after photo 2. The redness to her cheek, seen in photos 1 and 2, has suddenly disappeared, and instead, we see new bruises, not seen in the previous photos, including a long L-shaped bruise that we are guided to believe was caused by her being struck by the edges of a mobile phone, hurled at her by Mr. Depp. We see also a small distinct bruise just below her eye. There is further bruising within Miss Heard's eye socket above her eye and more bruising above her eyebrow, in addition to having been allegedly struck in the face by the mobile phone, Ms. Heard also testified in her declaration on May 26, 2016, that Mr. Depp further assaulted her as follows. I immediately covered my face and was crying because of the pain resulting from the phone. Johnny charged at me, insisting on seeing my face. He taunted me, challenging me, whether or not the cell phone actually did it. He then forcibly did something to my hair as I attempted to stand up from the sofa. I then yelled out, "Call 911," hoping it would be heard by IO, who was still on the phone. Johnny continued screaming at me, doing something to my hair, and doing things with my face. As the edge of the mobile phone could not have both struck Miss Heard flush on the side of her face and also within her eye socket, then the bruises within her eye socket could only have been caused by Mr. Depp allegedly doing something else. Nevertheless, we are left with the implausibility of two perpendicular edges of a mobile phone having somehow struck Miss Heard flush on the side of her face and at the same time, and the further impossibility that both edges struck with such force as to cause an L-shaped bruise, and yet the further impossibility that there was no evidence whatsoever of how any such bruising in the first hour or so after the alleged incident, and that bruising to her cheek had somehow disappeared by midnight of that day. If the bruises shown in photo 3 were indeed genuine, as is claimed by Ms. Heard, then they certainly would not bruise that were caused on that same day as the alleged bruised seen in photos 1 and 2. Miraculously, in photo 4, taken at 11:31 the following morning, the L-shaped bruise has disappeared after a night's sleep, as has the small distinct bruise seen below Ms. Heard's eye in photo 3. Instead, Ms. Heard's eye injury has somehow morphed into something more resembling a black eye, with bruising all around the bone and soft tissue of Ms. Heard's eye socket. This time, however, Ms. Heard makes a crucial mistake in exposing the hoax of her fake injury. In photo 4, Ms. Heard's eyelid can be darkened and discolored in keeping with the coloration of the supposed bruising below and around her eye. In another photo taken at that same occasion, Ms. Heard shuts her eyelid to further reveal the extent of her injury, but instead she exposes her very precise application of the eyeshadow and makeup used for the fake injury. In the below right image, a very clear line of eyeshadow can be seen across Ms. Heard's eyelid. Clearly, the bruises seen in photo 4 are all fake and are simply formed by the use of makeup, a procedure that Ms. Heard would be very familiar with in her line of work. Furthermore, the impossible disappearance of the extinct injuries seen in photo 3 gives further proof not only that those injuries were faked, but if they were real, then the photographs could not have been taken on the same day. Ms. Heard's fake injury in photo 4 further morphs by the time she's attended the LA Superior Court on May 27th to file for a TRO. From paparazzi photos taken on that day, the dark discoloration around Ms. Heard's right eye has impossibly disappeared, and she has no longer shown signs of a black eye. The bruising around Ms. Heard's eyebrow remained in place, but a new bruise appeared around her cheekbone. There was some commentary on social media that Ms. Heard's new cheek bruise appeared to be no more than eczema embellished with the makeup to create a fake bruise. And this thesis is greatly substantiated by further paparazzi photos taken of Ms. Heard sorting out her garage on July 30th, 2018. The first and third photos below are of Ms. Heard on July 30th, 2018, long after her split with Mr. Depp. The middle photo is of Ms. Heard outside the Superior Court on May 27th, 2016, over 2 years earlier. Yep. Across both occasions, there is a striking similarity in appearance and location of the eczema-like skin condition seen on Ms. Heard's cheek, and on both occasions, Ms. Heard was fully aware that paparazzi would be present and clearly knew how to exacerbate the condition as required. The fake bruise to Ms. Heard's cheek is clearly and visibly no more than her deliberately exasperated eczema embellished with makeup. We move on to time and location of photo 202, so photo number 3. Of all the 4 subject photos, the one that is most inconsistent from the others is by far photo 3, in which Ms. Heard's hair is immaculately styled as if done professionally. Ms. Heard is not wearing the silver necklace seen in the other 3 subject photos, but is wearing 2 gold necklaces, neither of which appear to match the gold necklace seen in photo 2. The L-shaped bruise to the side of Ms. Heard's eye and the bruise under her eye are not seen in any other subject photo taken before or after. The photograph is a selfie and hence was not taken by Ms. Pennington, who evidently was not present at the time. Working on the assumption that the reason for Miss Heard's professionally styled hair and for wearing different jewelry was due to her having attended an important event that same evening, I trolled backward from May 21st through photos of events attended by Miss Heard. It didn't take me very long before discovering that Miss Heard's hairstyle, as seen in photo 3, closely matched her hairstyle at the LA premiere of the Adderall Diaries on April 12, 2016. The hair length, coloring, and texture appear consistent across both the above photographs, and her eyebrows match in fullness and shape, but the most striking similarity between the two is the wave of hair that can be seen covering the right side of Miss Heard's neck, but with no similar wave on the left side. Of the many photos taken of Miss Heard on the evening of the premiere, almost all show the wave of hair sitting across and covering Miss Heard's neck to greater or lesser extent, a few examples of which are shown below. A look at the many web videos of the photo shoot of that evening will show how rigidly the wave was held in place. So it would not be surprising if the wave was still across Miss Heard's neck in the hours following this premiere. But the wave of hair is not sufficient to establish whether photo 3 was taken in the aftermath of the premiere. However, the necklace worn by Miss Heard at that premiere give further evidence that that photo was taken that very same evening. Look at that. The photographs taken of Miss Heard at the premiere are not sufficient resolution to determine the exact link shape of the lower necklace she wore at that event. However, in the first and third photos above, the links of the lower necklace worn at the premiere produce a very distinct profile when reflected light causes the link to glare. This profile is of a shining disc shape with a finite line from the edge to a small dark circle in the middle. There is no reflective glare from the adjoining links, as connecting links will most likely be angled away from each other. This exact same profile is seen in several of the glaring links in one of the necklaces worn by Miss Heard in the above middle photo, photo 3, allegedly taken on May 21st, and thereby it gives compelling evidence that it is the same necklace as the lower necklace worn by Miss Heard at the premiere. It appears that Miss Heard wore 3 necklaces at the premiere, all seemingly linked together to keep them in place as seen in the adjacent photo. The below enlargement of the other necklaces seen in photo 3 and the middle necklace worn at the premiere suggests that both are box link necklaces. However, the links of the necklace seen in photo 3 appear thin and ununiform, whereas those in the premiere necklace appear more solid and regular. However, photos can be misleading, and in an expanded section of a different premiere photograph shows the same necklace to have links that appear to be 8-shaped. Only the single photo, photo 3, was taken at that occasion, and it is not of sufficient quality to conclusively determine if it is or it is not the same necklace seen in the premiere photographs. The final piece of the jigsaw, however, is provided by the glitter with which Miss Heard adorned on her neck, upper chest, and arms on that evening of the premiere, and from which the sparkles can easily be seen on many of the premiere photos. Remnants of this same glitter can still be seen on Miss Heard's neck and upper chest in the photo she allegedly took on May 21st, photo 3, but not in any of the subject photos. Oh my. Look at that. Note, a full-page image of the cropped, enlarged of photo 3 without arrows can be found in Appendix 2 at the end of this document. The evidence of the hairstyle, the wavy curl, the necklace, and the glitter all combine to give the only plausible narrative that photo 3 was taken later in the same evening as their premiere, and this is further supported by the fact that the metadata shows the photo to be a selfie, inferring that Miss Heard was alone in the bedroom when she took the photo. Look at that. All right, so I just went to the appendix to see without the arrows, and look at that. So that is the picture of her injury photo. And look at those all around. That's glitter. Why is she wearing glitter in her... Why was she wearing glitter that night? I thought she was home alone, and I thought she was waiting for Johnny, and I thought they were just doing yoga in Penthouse 5, and Rocky was doing her beads. Interesting. So what have we looked at? We've looked at where the photos were taken, who took the photos, what she was wearing, her hair, her jewelry, her eyebrows. Man, it is intense. So, all right, let's get into it. So we start this one off with the door incident. The curiosity remains that a photo 3 was taken on the late evening of the 12th of April 2016, the date of the premiere. That's the premiere of the Adderall Diaries. Then its purpose could not have been to give evidence of an injury to be faked on May 21st, almost 6 weeks later. And this is supported by the fact that the bruising shown to Miss Heard's face in photo 3 is totally inconsistent with bruising seen in any other photos taken of her alleged injuries during that incident. The main injury shown in photo 3 is of an L-shaped bruise to the side of Miss Heard's right eye. We are guided to believe that this was caused by her being struck by the edges of a mobile phone hurled at her by Mr. Depp. We know that an accusation of an abuser is often their confession, and that an abuser will claim to be the victim of the abuse that they themselves have meted out. Absolutely. The L-shaped bruise on the side of Miss Heard's face would be far more consistent with having been struck by the edge of a door. Miss Heard likely faked the photo in order to accuse Mr. Depp of having slammed the bathroom door into her own face in the same manner as she had done to him during an incident in September of 2015, and as described in detail during a conversation with Mr. Depp that Miss Heard recorded secretly. So Depp said, "I then stood up. I don't even know if I might have said like, what the fuck, whatever, because I had just been hit in the head with the fucking corner of the door." And then Amber said, "I'm so sorry I did that. I am so sorry." Yeah, you're sorry he's bringing it up. As photo 3 was taken just by the bathroom door of Penthouse 3, Miss Heard had likely intended to use it as evidence of having been struck in the face with the door. However, no such incident was formally raised by Miss Heard, and subsequently she used the photo as evidence of being struck by a mobile phone rather than a door. And into this section, why hide her neck? A further curiosity as to why on the evening of the premiere, Miss Heard styled her hair with such a wavy curl almost permanently covered to the right side of her neck. A clue to the reason for this may have been able to hide a love bite, or a hickey, on that same part of her neck, and possible evidence of this reason is given in photo 3. In the above photo, 2 marks can be seen on Miss Heard's neck directly below, but not fully obscured by her wavy curl of hair. The mark may indeed extend behind the wave of hair. And there is a further smaller mark by Miss Heard's armpit just above left breast. This mark appears to be bruising consistent with recent love bites, and their shape and location cannot easily be explained away as shadows or darkened hair or photographic blemishes. Clearly, if these are indeed love bites, then this would give reason for Miss Heard to hide them when venturing outdoors in public. In Mr. Depp's complaint of defamation against Miss Heard on March 1st of 2019, he testified that in March of 2015, Eastern Columbia building personnel testified that Miss Heard received muskie late at night at Mr. Depp's penthouse. Specifically, Miss Heard asked staff at the Eastern Columbia building to give her friend Elon access to the building's parking garage and the penthouse elevator late at night, and they testified that they did so. Building staff would then see Miss Heard's friend Elon leaving the building the next morning. Mr. Depp did not accompany Miss Heard to the premiere that evening, so it's reasonable to surmise that he was not in LA at the time. Updated elevator footage showing Mr. Musk with Miss Heard going to her penthouse apartment gives proof to the testimony of the Eastern Columbia building staff that Mr. Musk did indeed stay overnight with Miss Heard. James Franco also had a role in the Adderall Diaries and hence was present with Miss Heard at the premiere and posed with him for photographs. Less than 6 weeks later, on May 22nd at 10:57 p.m., Mr. Franco was also seen in the elevator footage going up to Miss Heard's penthouse 3 apartment. Miss Heard's attorney, Eric George, told Fox News that, and peep this guys, his client and Franco once lived in the same apartment complex and were simply taking the elevator at the same time. Okay. It is not inconceivable that either Mr. Musk or Mr. Franco stayed with Miss Heard on the night before the premiere, and similarly possible that Mr. Franco may have accompanied Miss Heard home after the premiere. If Mr. Franco did indeed live at the Eastern Columbia building at that time, then both the aforementioned visits are made more plausible, though it should be noted that Adam Waldman, Depp's attorney, told The Blast that Miss Heard's absurd, pretextual excuse for Mr. Franco's presence in the elevator to Mr. Depp's penthouse floor is that it was a chance encounter because James Franco lived in the building. That is a lie. Franco didn't and doesn't live in the building, nor does he live in the hallway of Mr. Depp's private penthouse floor to which elevator 3 goes. Exactly. It should be noted also that the few premiere photos where Miss Heard's neck is not hidden by the wave of curl. There is no obvious signs of that love bite. This could be because there was no love bite, but is more likely to be because the love bite had been covered and hidden by foundation and other makeup, a skill at which Miss Heard claims to be adept, and that the wave of curl of hair was for additional concealment, else what other purpose did the strategically placed wave of hair serve? We go into facial imperfections. In this section, we look at each of the May 21st photos for facial imperfections or blemishes that would be expected to be seen on all 3 photos if indeed they were taken within the 3.5 hours or so of each other. This in turn will determine if there is further compelling evidence or proof that the photos were not taken on the date given in the metadata or within the same day. In photo 2, we find 2 such blemishes. The first is a group of 3 small spots, which are pimples, all of which are raised, and one which is clearly full of pus. The second is very distinct dark sun freckle. Importantly, the same 2 skin blemishes can also be seen in other poorly quality photo of Miss Heard taken at the same occasion. Yet despite both blemishes being visible on a poor quality photo taken 2 minutes after photo 2, neither blemish appears in either of the high-quality photos 1 and 3, which were allegedly taken around an hour earlier and 2.5 hours later, respectively. In fact, a distinct dark sun freckle can be seen on Miss Heard's nose bridge in photo 1, yet cannot be seen in either of the 2 subject photos, giving further proof that all 3 photos could not have been taken within 3.5 hours. There is also clearly some similarity to hairstyle between photo 2 and 3. But most significant in the above image is that in photo 3, distinct sun freckles can be seen above Miss Heard's right eyebrow and high on her nose bridge and near the corner of her eye, and the likely same faded freckle can also be seen in photo 2, but not in photo 1. In addition to the corresponding sun freckles seen in both photos 2 and 3, there is also a striking similarity between the size and shape of Miss Heard's eyebrows, especially the hair pattern formed on the far right as facing of the eyebrows, shown within the green circles. Using Photoshop, I placed blue and red markers at the 3 corresponding points on Miss Heard's eyebrow in photos 2 and 3 respectively. I then respectively placed purple and yellow markers on the corresponding freckles. I then superimposed photo 2 at 50% opacity onto photo 3 and attempted to align the blue and red eyebrow markers as best as possible. It can be seen in the above image. Once the blue and red markers are reasonably aligned, the purple and yellow freckle markers are also less aligned with their equivalents. Yep, they look pretty spot on, no pun intended. Allowing for the innate inaccuracy of the method used and parallax caused by the slightly different angles of the camera Miss Heard's face between photos, the result gives compelling evidence, if not proof, that photo 2 was taken after photo 3 and was taken days after the 3 freckles had faded and after a new freckle had appeared. This is further supported by the fact that the 3 spots, pimples, seen in photo 2 are not present in photo 3 and thereby had developed in the period up to when photo 2 was taken. According to acneaction.ca, it actually takes between 1 to 2 weeks for an acne spot to fully develop. Hence, the 3 spots, all of which are close proximity and at a different stage of development, would have taken at least a week to have surfaced. Their location suggests also that they were caused by the thick eyebrow makeup worn by Miss Heard at the premiere or possibly the fake bruise makeup seen in the same location in photo 3. We can also conclude that if photo 1 was indeed taken before photo 2, then it must have been taken at least 1 week earlier, the minimum time for a spot to develop. What is irrefutable is that the 3 spots and the new sun freckle could not all have suddenly appeared in an hour between photos 1 and 2, and then all disappeared in the following 2.5 hours before taking photo 3. And this provides further irrefutable proof that the 3 photos were taken days, if not weeks or months apart. However, the 3 sun freckles cannot be seen in any of the premiere photos of Miss Heard. This may be due to her applying more makeup around her eyes and eyebrows. A close-up of Miss Heard's nose and a single sun freckle that is visually appears to be the same location in both the premiere photo and photo 3, although the different angles of Miss Heard's face make it difficult to establish with certainty. I don't know how Andy saw any of this. Like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But man, oh man, incredible sleuthing. Crucially, the same sun freckle cannot be seen in photos 1 and 2. Therefore, if this is indeed the same freckle seen in both the above photos, then there can be little doubt that photo 1 was taken on or within a few hours of the evening of April 12, 2016, the evening of the premiere of the Adderall Diaries. And we go into summary. All right. The change of clothing and of jewelry seen between the subject photos itself gives compelling evidence that the photos were not taken within the same day. And absolute proof of this is given by the impossible appearing and disappearing of the bruises seen on Miss Heard's face, as well as the full and curved eyebrows seen in photos taken on May 21st between other photos taken on the 18th and 22nd of May, where her eyebrows are heavily plucked into a much shorter spearhead shape. Below is a summary for each of the 4 subject photos. Photo 4. The spearhead shape of Miss Heard's eyebrows in both this photo and a photo taken 3 days earlier at LAX airport gives irrefutable proof that the other 3 subject photos were not taken on May 21st. The same eyebrow shape places the date of this photo in the days around May 27th, when Miss Heard filed for her TRO. However, eyeshadow makeup seen in this photo and another photo gives proof that the injuries were faked. Furthermore, the quote-unquote bruising to Miss Heard's cheek seen on May 27th is not seen in the photo and looks strikingly similar to acne seen on the same cheek in other photos of Miss Heard taken on July 30th, 2018, over 2 years after her split with Depp. Photo 3. The curved shape and fullness of Miss Heard's eyebrows in this photo gives irrefutable proof that this photo was not taken on May 21st, and the texting of this photo on the same day gives proof that the photo was taken before and not after May 21st. The hairstyle seen in this photo, and more particularly the curly wave of hair across Miss Heard's neck, almost certainly places the date of this photo at the 12th of April, 2016, where Miss Heard attended the LA premiere of the Adderall Diaries with the same hairstyle and curly wave. And further compelling evidence is that Miss Heard wore at least one of the necklaces seen in this photo to that premiere. Also seen in this photo are remnants of glitter on Miss Heard's neck and upper chest that adorn those same parts at the premiere. There appears also to be matching nose freckles between the photos of the one taken of Miss Heard at the premiere. And finally, the metadata for this photo shows it to have been taken using the front camera and thereby a selfie. This not only infers that Miss Heard was on her own when the photo was taken, it also proves that Miss Heard lied in testifying that it was Miss Pennington who took the photo. Photo 2. As with photo 3, the curved shape and fullness of Miss Heard's eyebrows gives irrefutable proof that this photo was not taken on the 21st of May, and the texting on that same day of another photo taken on the same time gives proof that the photo was taken before and not after May 21st. 3 matching freckles seen in both this photo and in photo 3, along with the striking similarity in shape and size of Miss Heard's eyebrows between the 2 photos, gives compelling evidence that both were taken with days of each other. However, 3 spots, pimples, close to Miss Heard's eyebrows and freckle on her cheek can all be seen in the photo, but not in photo 3. This gives proof that the photo was taken after photo 3 and not before. Finally, photo 1. The date on which this photo was taken is more difficult to establish, but was, according to the metadata, the first photo to be taken of Miss Heard's injuries on May 21st, and yet he was not one of the 3 photos texted by Miss Heard on the same day. Now, they said that this photo was taken at 8:23, and Johnny didn't leave till 8:30, so I'd still love to know why, how, when, why. Yeah. This suggests that it was taken after the date, but before September 1st, 2016, the date by which Penthouse 1 was to be vacated. Miss Heard's eyebrows appear not quite as thickest as normal, suggesting that they had not yet fully grown back from their spearhead shape seen in photos up to May 28th. This thereby suggests that the photo may have been taken around 2 months later in late July, and then in time for Miss Heard's deposition on August 6, 2016, should it be needed. The end. Wow. Bravo, Andy. Once again, bravo.